Hello and welcome to Steve's Backyard Bonsai. These are 3 Japanese Zelkova trees that I grew from seed. Seeds I collected in the Lowe's parking lot near where I live. I've been wanting to put these in a forest planting. It is an even number of trees, so I got to make that work somehow. I think I can do it. And I need to get these pruned up. They haven't been pruned up in quite some time. I don't think I got to these before the winter. I don't think I did. But this is all this year's growth. Most of it anyway. You can see there is some hardwood on them. And I've been wanting the trunks to thicken up. These I unfortunately planted 2 in a pot, and I got my fingers crossed I'll be able to separate them. I have in the past separated these trees, or trees planted 2 in a pot, successfully. So I'm not super worried about that. I just want to get these to some form that can be used in a group planting, in a forest type planting. So I want a nice dense upper canopy and a lot of trunks showing. All right, that's my goal. Let me get these ready. I'll work on 1 pot at a time. All right, here we go. All right, so I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to approach this. Let me go through my thought process live with you, and see if we can't come to some agreement here. I like this low, actually I like this low branch to be a first branch on this tree, but I don't want to see any foliage before this height. So everything that obscures the trunk up to about 4.5 inches, I'm going to take off. Of course, that branch that I pointed out, these trees will not be in this orientation to one another, so we just have to think this through. All right, so I'm going to save this branch, but foliage will not begin until about 4.5 inches up. And I'm going to maintain that throughout. My idea for these trees, and I've mentioned this before, I just haven't quite gelled on which trees I want to use in that scenario, but my thoughts for these trees is a street scene with a road, with curbs, God help me, with drainage, some sort of plumbing built in, because why not? All right, so now I've got to concentrate on whether or not, I know this tree has a secondary branch right away, then goes up to another structure that goes out in another direction, and then something that comes toward the viewer, which may or may not be my apex. All right, I have to decide on something, so let me do it slowly. These trees will not be that tall, so I'm going to cut this away for now. Japanese Zelkova is an elm and grows like an elm, so you will get zigzagging and change of direction, but you may not get ramification or bifurcation at those cut points. All right, so looking at the other tree, imagining that they're across the street from one another, and you're looking down that street. You may be in a car. Let's see. There's some ramification Very unfortunate location of branches here, but you know what? Might not be too bad. All right, now I'm going to switch to smaller equipment and see if I can get these things to start to look like trees. And it's going to be hard to see. I'll try and show it as good as I can, as well as I can. All right, this tree. If it were a tree, I'd get rid of that. Get rid of that. Cut that off, that's an outward facing leaf. Here's a downward facing leaf. And maybe I can start to get some good leaf structure. Here's a set of leaves going straight up. And take those away. All right, now I got some separation between this and the next bit of foliage. Okay, if I keep this branch, it's got a lower section, which is nice. Let me shorten that to here. I may lose this lower section entirely. It's got two branches coming from the same spot. One is very weak. I'm going to take that one off. I'm going to shorten this to an outward facing leaf. Shorten this to an outward facing leaf, outward in this direction facing leaf. There's a dead branch here. Take that away. And the part of this that goes up, I'm going to take away. All right, that's got that branch. This one. All right, so I shortened it, but it curves around. So I haven't picked the front of this tree. This is quite nice as a front, if you can see that. So I don't want to obscure that branch. Let me take these away. And there's another little sucker coming out here. A strange direction. And what? All right, so I've got, man, that is a nice front, but this obscures it, both of these. So now I got to worry about how tall this tree is and where my foliage is. So if I take this away, I lose this branch. If I take this section away and keep these two branches, which come out at the same spot, maybe I'll keep one of the two. Let me think about that, because if I take one away, what did I just do with the foliage above it? I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to take that top, the heavy top off. Right to here. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to do one pot in real time, and then the other one I will do in time lapse. And I like that there. I don't want any of this. Probably, but I just lost it. All right, here's a very weak branch going on the inside. going to shorten this. Maybe I'm going to shorten it to here. Changes direction. I like that. Shorten this to there. Shorten that to there. All right. Now, this one comes out from that branch radially. This one does not. If I make a mistake, I'll present it to you so you don't make the same mistake. All right, so this is thicker, so this naturally wants to be shorter. I've got some foliage at this height, so I'm going to take this tall part off, this dead part off. Everything's very alive on this tree. And just taking the tips off, praying for some ramification. Here's two branches coming out from the same spot. One is weaker than the other, but still a healthy branch. I've got a little bit of a bulge. I don't want to, I'm trying to cut a piece of branch away without damaging the part of the branch that looks good. Okay, that tree is fully pruned up. Did I hit my goal? If that's the front of the tree, step around. If that is the front of that tree, all right, I probably will lose that middle at some point, but let's see what happens. It's funny that the lower branch would come up and become the apex, but it happens. This could die off. Anyway, let's let it grow. It's thinned out nicely. Let's look at the next tree. All right. So I want the foliage to begin no lower than this. Two branches coming out of the same spot. This one is not radial. This one is, although it curves around. Can I correct that? I can. Get it going in that direction. All right. Hopefully a branch will come in this direction. This one on the bottom looks a little weird. I like that it bolsters that foliage pad, but it's coming from a weird place. So I got rid of it. Two branches here. This one is definitely not radial. Cut that one short. Now, let's think about the height. This one's easier. All right. That short. All right, this is a big cut. I'm just going to cut it off rough. Clean it up a little bit. All right, have to fix a little of that in editing. And how do I want this to go? I want it to go that way. I'm going to cut this whole top off. All right, let's see how these trees develop now. Do I like that? No. All right, put these outside and get 2 more in fast motion. All right, that's it for today. Tomorrow, I'm going to prune up Central Park. It's got some very strong growth and some very small leaves closer to the center of the tree. So I want to be chasing the big leaves back to the smaller leaves as much as possible. Let some more light down inside here. There's been, quite a bit of degradation. It's probably being overwatered a bit, but because of the rain and whatnot, I think I want to take the wire off of this tree, and I'll do that tomorrow as well. It's been getting some fertilizer. Hopefully it's making a difference. The birds have, for the most part, left it alone. They pulled a big piece off of here. A big piece of moss off of here. I don't know what they love about it. And I may expose some of these roots. They should be doing something. There's a wire holding this down in the front. That should be able to come off, and the wire I had straightening this tree should be able to come off as well. It's been on since February, March maybe? February. Anyway, time to move on with this one. But that'll be tomorrow. But for today, thanks for keeping me company in my backyard.